Do you have a minute? Now, how often do you hear something like this before? And how often do you really believe that this minute or two will change your life completely? And no, we're not referring to those moments that, life flashes in front of your eyes, just because you're escaping death. I'm not talking about those moments. I'm talking about the 2-minute rule that you can apply to become successful. Now, in this video today, I'll be talking about how this method changed my life for the better. And of course, if you stay until the end, I'll even show you how you can get started as well. Okay, let's get into the video. Hey, what's up you guys? Lukas here from excelwealth.com. Great that you joined in today, because in today's video, I actually want to talk about how the 2-minute rule can help your life become more successful. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because that's the way how we can grow our community together. But the most interesting thing today that I want to share with you is that the 2-minute rule has helped me become successful in investing in real estate. This is how I got to where I am today. And this 2-minute rule that I actually used in my life, I describe in my latest book. If you're interested, of course, be sure to get your own copy down below in the description. Get your own copy now. And yes, read my story on how I got to where I am today. Okay, let's get into the video. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is the actual truth behind a 2-minute rule. If you type in Google what the truth is behind the 2-minute rule, you'll find out that the 2-minute rule is just a trick. It's just a trick. It is just a trick. I can't do anything about it, but the 2-minute rule is to trick your mind. And the funny part is, you're actually able to trick your mind not only once, not only twice, but you can trick your mind every day again. Yes, you can. The funny part is, if you want to get started with a certain habit, you have to trick your mind. And yes, that's the interesting part. We as humans do not always like to do the things that we should do, but don't always like to do. The 2-minute rule, in the end, is just a trick to tell your mind, let's get to it. And it can be applied to all kinds of situations. Now, I apply it in exercises here, but you can apply it in any kind of situation. Now, for example, I gotta start educating myself more financially, for example. Now, you can easily do that. But instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna study for hours. I'll tell you that, if you would tell me that I have to study for hours, I already know that I'm not gonna do it. But the thing is, the moment you tell yourself, you know what, I'm gonna browse through this book for at least 2 minutes. The moment you start browsing, you'll read interesting chapters and think, this is kind of interesting. And then before you know it, already 20 minutes have passed. And this is the whole idea behind the 2-minute rule. It is tricking your mind to get started. And this is what happens to so many people that I come across, is that they find it so difficult to get started. Now, same goes for my book. I had difficulty starting to write. Now, I just told myself, you know what? I'll just start writing. And the moment you do, before you know it, you've finished your first paragraph already. And then your second, and then your third. And the moment you're in the zone, hey, you'll be very successful in it already. And this is how it works. The 2-minute rule is to get you into your zone, is to get to your focus. Now, the second part of the 2-minute rule is procrastination. I'll tell you this, people have difficulty getting started, but also being distracted for almost everything. Now, I'll tell you this, the moment I get a message on my phone, like, bzz, 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 the moment I get that, I always have the urge to, I gotta check my phone. I gotta check my phone. Although I'm in the middle of something, I could be working, I could be studying, I could be doing something very important. But just because my phone buzzes or a message pops up in my phone, I have the urge, I have the feeling that I have to check my phone. Well, I always say, you know what, apply the 2-minute rule. And what does it mean? Well, very simple in this case. The moment my phone rings, the moment my phone actually buzzes and I'm in the middle of something, I always say, you know what? Leave your phone for 2 minutes. If you can leave your phone for 2 minutes and it doesn't buzz again, well, most likely the message is not that important yet, or the message is not that urgent. If people tend to call you and you think, you know what? I'm in the middle of something right now. and I can't pick up the phone right now. Well, leave it be. If the person calls you again, you think, this is the same person calling again. Maybe I should pick up right now. Then pick up. But if the 2-minute rule tells you like, you know what? It's okay to just leave the phone for now. Turn the sound off. And even the buzzing, for example. Because, if it doesn't help you right now, most likely it's not going to help you in the future as well. So leave the phone. Be focused on the things that you are doing right now. Now, even talking about procrastination, I always say you got to make a to-do list. Now, I'm not really of a list person because, you got to make a lot of lists. And then I'll be focusing on making the lists instead of doing the actual work. What helps out with your procrastination and using the 2-minute rule is what you could do is like make a not to-do list. What are the things you should not do? Not only today, but on a daily basis. Now, what are the things you shouldn't be doing? And you can easily write down the 2-minute things. All the things that you can do less than 2 minutes, sure, do those. But all the things that are more than 2 minutes, hey, social media is never going to be less than 2 minutes. So you don't want to do that right now. Maybe it's a good idea not to do that. And then I always say within procrastination, why not make a wish list? So all the things that you could wish for, like, ooh, I would like to do this the moment I'm done with the things that I need to do. Then you can spend your 2 minutes on the things that think, this is nice. This is something that I really wanted to do. That is your wish list. So I always actually have in my mind 3 things. I've got the to-do list, I've got the not to-do list, and I've got my wish list. Now my wish list, it's a great list that I have on my computer screen as well. I have a not to-do list that, those post-it papers that tell me what not to do and that's gonna take a lot of time. Like, for example, playing Among Us, being on TikTok, being on other social media platforms. Those are the things that take more than 2 minutes. Always. I cannot watch one TikTok film and say, you know what? That's it. No, I'm going to swipe up and watch more. It helps with procrastination as well, the 2-minute rule. Now, the third aspect of this 2-minute rule is that I want to share with you is how do you apply it to become successful? Now, the interesting thing is this. Always check, what are your goals? Now, that is the first thing that you got to start out with. What are your goals? What would you like to achieve? Where would you like to stand in, for example, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years' time? Where do you want to stand? If you do not have a goal, then it's very difficult to focus to get there. Because, if you don't have a goal, it's like, where do you want to go to, right? So the thing is, what is your goal? You got to focus on the goal and then spend your time on getting to that goal. And every time you think, you know what, I want to be financially free in 3 years' time. Well, the things that you do today, are you actually using your 2-minute rule to get to those things that you need to do today? Now, I always say, I gotta film this for you, for example, and I find it very difficult to set up all the stuff, the lighting. I got different lights over here, the lighting, the camera, the microphone, everything needs to be set up. But every time I think, you know what, I actually want to share this cool, interesting, and inspiring story with you. And therefore, you know what, I'll just do it. It's fun to do so. I like doing it so yeah, let's just get to it. It's only 2-minute work. And yes, we already know it's not going to be 2-minute work, but you get the idea. And this is where it starts. You got to start somewhere saying like, you know what? I need something to get started to become successful. Now, life doesn't become successful like overnight. You got to get to an audience. You got to start somewhere. And in my case, I just start shooting, have some fun in the front of the camera, just talking to the camera lens and laughing about my own jokes and sometimes making funny, silly faces. Yeah, that's just the whole idea, but that's where it starts. And it only takes 2 minutes to get started. The moment you are busy with it, it just works. So set your goal and focus on the things that you need to get to your goal. And in the end, you just need to get started with a 2-minute rule. Now, since you got to the end of the video, the first thing what you should do to be able to get started for yourself is, of course, get a copy of my book. If you get a copy of my book, you can read how I apply the 2-minute rule in all kinds of situations. Now, throughout this whole book, the 2-minute rule is the main thing of the whole book. It's a method that will help you how to achieve your goals and how to apply them in different kinds of situations. That's the first thing. Get my book. Now, the second thing what you could do is, for example, check how often do you take a look at your stocks. Now, how often do you really do that? Now, for me, it started with getting successful habits first. That's the very first thing that I needed to do in my life. The moment I did that, the second thing was, okay, you know what? I'm going to invest my money on the stock market to grow it over time, which is a very good goal, I would say. Is it very specific? No. Very much money is not very specific. But then again, for this video, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, I told myself, I want to get money and I want to grow it on the stock market. Very good. How do you apply something like the 2-minute rule on something like the stock market? Well, it's very simple. Instead of checking your stocks every day again, I told myself in the beginning, you know what? I'm not going to check more than 2 minutes on the stock market. So for example, like, you know what? I'll log in on my phone. I'll check on my phone. Like, this is very interesting. It is going up. Or, this is very interesting. It is going down. So I'm only checking for 2 minutes, which is a strategy. You don't want to be looking longer, because the moment you look longer into it, you might start selling off or buying more because your emotions take over. You think, ooh, the stocks are cheap today, I gotta buy more. Or you think, oh no, I see the numbers falling today, and I read something on the news that it's gonna be worse today, so I gotta sell off now so I can cut the losses. Those are the emotions taking over. In this case, what you could do is easily apply the 2-minute rule, saying like, you know what? The only thing, what I do when I log in, I check the situation. If the situation is good, very nice. If the situation is bad, well, what does my strategy tell me that I need to do? If I need to sell off, good. If my strategy tells me I gotta buy more, buy more. If my strategy tells me do nothing, then do nothing. You have a strategy. You already know what you need to do. The 2-minute rule only tells you check if everything is still aligned. And this is how you can get started as well. This is how I got started myself in my teens. How I started with only 25 bucks in my pocket and think, you know what? This is what I need to do. And this is how it will make me successful. And it did. At some point, I had so much money that I could buy my first real estate property. And I was only at the beginning of my 20s. So I thought like, you know what? Hey, why not buy just real estate property to get a nice, stable, passive income? And this is how you can get started as well. I thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you liked it very much. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, because that's a way how we can influence YouTube's algorithm. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because that's the way how we can grow a community. And of course, every time you want to be notified a new video comes out, be sure to click the notification bell as well. And then you'll get a notification like, okay, Lukas got a new video coming up. And of course, if you haven't gotten a copy of my book yet, be sure to check out the description down below to get your own copy today. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Happy investing, and bye-bye.